Establishing a brand voice for your business is one of the most important things that you could do. It's also one of the hardest, and I should know because I've experienced those challenges so many times in the past. I have a social media marketing agency, and the type of client that I want to attract are those that want to create bold, impactful, fun content. So I've always known that I needed to create a tone of voice that reflected that. But not only is it difficult to define a tone of voice that truly reflects your brand, but it's even harder to ensure that it's consistent across all of your content. From emails to ads to blog posts to website copy, it starts sounding all over the place very quickly. That's why I'm going to show you a tool that's made this whole process so much easier. It's helped me create a brand voice I am truly proud of. Follow along with me by clicking the link in the description below. Let's get into it. To set up your brand voice, head into your HubSpot settings, click on Accounts, then Defaults, and you'll see an option called Brand Voice. Click on Generate Brand Voice. This will open up a window where you can add a writing example and give some context about your brand. So basically, here's what it says. The writing example that you're going to send is going to be analyzed and used to generate your brand voice. So full samples that are longer than 500 words do the best job at accurately representing your brand voice, and it's usually going to yield the best results. I'm choosing to paste a writing example. For me, I do believe that my best examples of my writing are from my email newsletters. I have an email series called A Letter to My Readers. It's a monthly series where I show the behind the scenes of running a business, the raw, messy middle. Because it's so raw, it really demonstrates my authentic tone of voice, so it's the perfect writing sample to develop my brand voice. So I'm going to copy one of these newsletters and then paste it in. Select a target audience for this sample. So I'm going to write content creators and business owners. And that's in. So now HubSpot can generate my brand voice. Now, this is the interesting part. HubSpot's going to pick up on the characteristics within your writing, and it's actually going to tell you what your brand voice is. One of my favorite parts about this is that it's not just going to lock you into whatever it says. You're actually able to jump in and make some adjustments to make sure it truly aligns with what you feel your brand voice should be. So as you can see, mine says that the personality is authentic, human, and supportive, and then it breaks down the tone as reflective and conversational, which I think is spot on. That's exactly the vibe I'm going for. I would say though, there's probably a few elements that I might want to throw in there. So I want to make sure that there's some sarcasm and some witty to really lighten the tone of my content. Otherwise, I think it sounded a little bit too intense. So I'm going to just pop that in. I'm also going to add down to earth. And the reason why is because since the beginning stages of my career, I have always tried to sound like your mate who works in marketing, who's just here to help. So I think adding down to earth is going to really help me convey that. So in the advanced settings, you can also add your company's mission and even include some terms to avoid, which is very, very useful. So my company's mission is helping bold brands turn cultural insight into social media content that actually works. There's also a section on inclusivity, which I think is so important. I'm going to choose to use gender neutral nouns and pronouns. I also really enjoy using slang and idioms. I feel like it just adds a bit of character to my content. So I'm going to leave those in, but I am going to select to avoid cultural and religious references. Once that's all done, I'm going to hit save. And there you have it. Your brand voice is set up. Now, this is where it gets really clever. You can choose which channels you want your brand voice to show up in, and that choice really matters. Personally, I wouldn't want to use my full tone of voice in something like a case study. These should be clear, concise, and really easy to understand, so there's no need to be throwing in my sarcasm or witty one-liners. I actually spend a lot of time thinking about where my tone of voice should be applied. As much as I would love for it to show up everywhere, there really is a time and a place for my tone of voice. It's important to use that kind of tone intentionally. So for example, in case studies, clarity is really the goal. People should be able to quickly understand the results without being distracted by personality-driven copy. Plus, I'm usually talking about someone else's brand and their success. So I keep the tone more neutral out of respect. It's about their story, not mine. But you can see here that there is an option to select blog posts, emails, website pages, podcast content, social media. That's where I want my full tone of voice to really shine. So I'm going to select those and click save. Now let's see it all in action. Let's go into one of the website pages that I set up earlier so that we can see this in action. So I'm clicking on a section of text on my homepage. I'm going to double click it so I can open up the editor and find that trusty refine tool. There it is. Let's click on it and select Apply Brand Identity. So the Copilot is going to pop up and it's going to rewrite that text for you in line with your brand identity. So as you can see, it's redrafted this text to make it a lot more witty, more conversational, a bit more down to earth, and I think it's sounding pretty good. I'd even go so far to say that the phrasing, the rhythm, and the energy of this piece of content is pretty spot on. However, ever the perfectionist, I do want to make a small tweak just to improve it further. So any tweaks that you want to make to the copy, you can just write it in here. I'm just going to ask it to remove the dashes. And then a few seconds later, you've got the updated copy without the dash. It sounds like me, it sounds like my brand, and it's good to go. So now I'm going to go through all of the rest of my homepage and basically just do the same thing. It literally takes seconds and it will allow me to update all of the content to ensure the tone is super consistent. Also, the messaging will feel really clear and aligned with my brand. This tool is a game changer if you work with a team. I've recently started building out my own team, and one of the challenges that I've come across is tone consistency. Even if someone understands my brand voice, they still might interpret it slightly differently, which means you end up with content that kind of sounds like me, but not really, or it sounds like me in some places, but not everywhere. Now, this fixes those inconsistencies. It gives the whole team the same guide, the same language, the same tone. So whether it's someone writing an email, a blog post, or a bit of sales copy, it all sounds aligned. You're not stuck reworking everyone's writing or playing editor on every draft. You're just building and publishing confidently, knowing that it all sounds like you. And that's it. A few simple steps and you've got a brand voice that's not only defined, but that's working for you across your content. It saves you time, it keeps your messaging consistent, and it helps your team stay on the same page. It's quick, it's smart, and it actually works. Click the link in the description to get started with HubSpot. I'm Jade, and I'll catch you next time.